All right, we got your excuse me, we got your videos synced up here. We'll let you watch it 2 times in a row before we talk about what we're seeing, and then we'll discuss anything that we can be working on at home to help us improve on this delivery. So, just let me grab this real quick. That way I can make some marks on our screen here. What we're going to do is at the top of the leg lift, we're going to watch how we're trying to get a lot of this backwards tilt to try to like load up our power. Something that we might want to think about trying to do is instead of needing to tilt back to get strong, we just get going to get strong. Because when we get into something that's this deep of a position where we haven't really gained any ground towards the target yet, we're going to feel the need for this to often need to rip or pull to feel like we're getting ourselves going enough to be able to start to rotate. We can just kind of see how that glove then goes from here and kind of gets over here, and doing so kind of opens our front shoulder as that front foot is trying to get itself secured into the ground. So we don't want to like not have the glove go over here because this is a great spot for it to travel, but we just need to find a way for it to not feel like it needs to yank and pull this way so aggressively where that front shoulder ends up getting pulled open with it, and then now we're kind of stuck throwing this pitch with a lot of our energy going out this, not a lot, but a portion of our energy going here, when we could have that going there to help us with our power production and our command. So again, we can just see how we're going to tilt these shoulders back to build up what we feel as power, 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 power. Now it's try to go send this power down the mound, but we have not been traveling, our body has not been traveling down the mound. So the only thing we have to really feel powerful with movement is to swoop this glove out. And that's just going to lead to some bigger misses and less potential consistency in our overall command, especially when it comes time to throw our off-speed pitches. So if we just real quickly got a baseball big league side view of, let's just use DeGrom here. And we can kind of just note how as he's going, his body is from the top of that leg lift, even almost before the top of that leg lift, his body is going. Whole body is going down the mound to produce his power. Do the same thing with Ben Joyce. Before even the top of the leg lift, that whole body is going down the mound. So that way his shoulders don't need to feel like they got to tilt backwards to get power. He just gets to go down the mound with power. Pull up another guy. Whole body is going, so that way he doesn't feel like he's got to tilt backwards. And we'll get one last guy. Let's see. Let's pick someone further down here. How about Devin Williams? So that'd be the big thing I would look for you to be wanting to work on this winter, is not needing to tilt backwards to try to feel like you're getting strength, but being able to just go forward and down that mound with that strength. We'll let you watch your video 2 times here, and then we'll discuss what we're seeing. All right, so if we take this through one more time, we're doing a good job of getting this leg up nice and high during this leg lift. We can see that body is starting to want to get itself going towards that target, so that way on this leg's descent down, the body is already beginning its acceleration towards the target. We can see as that front foot is getting itself into the ground, that backside is firing and rotating itself forward. We're doing a good job of fighting to keep that upper body back and not rotating until after that front foot hits the ground. Now, the one thing that we could try to work on this winter would be, as this arm is getting to here and is about to start to load up, is about to flip up, we can see how the baseball is visible on this side of your body, the open side of the third base side of your body, the entire time. Now, what we would like to see is that baseball be a little bit more back this way, almost hidden behind your head. And what that's just going to do, because right now we could say our shoulders, even though this front shoulder is in, we can't say that your back shoulder is back over here because your arm is already coming over here. So we can think about trying to keep our shoulders more closed, or we can think about that arm getting loaded back more. And all this is going to do is just provide us with more power potential. So if I just get some front view videos here, we can just use like one of these here where we got multiple guys synced up kind of at the same time. And we note like when their front foot's hitting the ground, like that baseball is behind his head. This one we can see it on the other side of his head. Paul Skeens, on this side. We go to Zach Wheeler. We get him at that moment. His front foot gets in the ground, right? And that baseball's over here. Even while it's coming up, it's back there. We come back to yours again, and kind of we can see it right there. And then again, we can see it all through here. That's probably not going to be the best angle to see it at. All right, so that foot's in the ground and that ball is on the other side. Now, our scapular range of motion, our shoulders range of motion is going to play into this. But if we can actively be thinking about trying to load that ball back some more, we could potentially be seeing our next jump in velocity. So something to be thinking about. Having that ball get loaded behind our head or even deeper. But all in all, a lot of good things going on in our delivery. Got your video here that you can watch 2 times in a row before we talk about what we're seeing in it. All right, so everything that we're doing in the beginning of this delivery here is very nice. We're getting a good high leg lift. The one thing I would recommend that we try to do is just get some of this energy going down the mound sooner. We're in the wind up here. We have the ability to create this rhythm beforehand with our step, step, step. We need to think about getting this thing up, and as we're getting to about right here in the leg lift height, start having this body creep forward. And we can see the leg's going to come up and the leg's going to go down, and now the leg is all the way down, and this head really has not gone towards the target all that much, right? Legs all the way up, legs all the way down almost, and we're still here. And we're not a guy that sits in this back leg in a very deep position, right? We stay relatively tall. So if we're going to go leg all the way up, leg all the way down, and be relatively tall in that back leg, we definitely want to be thinking about getting this body going during the top 10% of that leg lift. That's going to help us create some power, create some energy, and be able to rock and roll with a lot more force. Because everything else that we're doing in our delivery is great. This is just going to make it have more power, more energy, and be something that's going to help you feel like you don't have to work so hard to create power and energy. It's just there for you already, right? So if we pull up these side view videos here, and just going to try to find some guys that throw hard just to kind of help go alphabetical order here. Just going to help motivate you. I'm going to get a Garrett Cole. I'm going to get a Ben Joyce. And who else can we get? Let's get a Hunter Brown. That sounds good. Okay, so Garrett Cole, even though he's in the stretch, we're going to notice as this leg is coming up towards the last few portions of it, his body is starting to go forward already. So that way as the leg goes down, he's going down and out. If we do that again with Ben Joyce, I'll draw some lines here to help us visually see this. And we say starting lines, some negative lines. They don't need to be straight. We're just using these to be able to see movement. So as this leg is coming up, we're going to see how that head is going forward. As this leg is coming up, his body is going forward. So once the leg is going down, yes, his body goes down, but he's also going towards that target as he's going down, bringing him down the mound with a lot more energy rather than it being leg up, leg down, and now here I try to go. So we're just trying to get some more energy in your delivery here. So we're going to see the body starting to creep forward, and that way he gets to keep going forward as he goes down. This is going to help hopefully get us that next jump in our velocity while helping us not have to work so hard to throw hard. That way we can throw hard for longer. We got your video synced up here so we can watch it 2 times before we talk about what we're seeing and what we'll want to focus on this winter. All right, and everything that I'm seeing in your delivery is looking really, really good this winter, man. Um, so hats off to you and all your hard work since the last time I saw you back before high school tryouts. The one thing I do have for you is we got this good eyes on the target, and what we're going to notice is through hand separation, because we are so extremely reaching this glove over here to keep us closed, which nothing wrong with that. But we can see how quickly now we're having to use not just one eyeball to look at the target, but we're having to use the peripheral visions of that eye, which, again, if we can control this, we're going to be fine. If we got great eyesight and repeatability. But what we're going to notice here is as we continue to get closer and closer to foot strike, that head is still super to the side. And now as we go to throw, this head is going to crazy rip and yank and pull itself over. And it's almost doing it with the shoulder rotation, right? Every little bit that shoulder rotates, the head is rotating with it. And now the head keeps going more than it needs to. So now we're using the complete opposite eye to look at the peripheral, or out its peripheral, to try to see now our target. And if we can be perfect with those movements each and every time, it's not going to impact us. But if we just yank a little bit too much, that's going to impact our throw. If we yank a little too early, that's going to impact our throw. If we don't yank enough, it's going to impact our throw. If it starts to turn over too quickly, it's going to impact our throw. So something that I would really highly recommend is that we, from this head position right here, gets no more rotated back than this, right? We can see from here, we can see underneath your left eye, or our perspective left eye, it's actually your right, but our left side. And then very quickly at the top of that leg lift, we're going to like almost lose that underneath your eye. And then right at hand separation, we lose that other eye. Let's try to keep two eyes to the target. That's maybe my biggest thing for you. And then anytime we get a crazy wild miss, it's probably going to be because the head yanked too soon or too hard or too much, and that gets the shoulder to go with it. And then now everything's getting casted out and flung out away from our body instead of being rotated and thrown towards our target, right? This one would be an example of going to our target, to our target, to our target. But if that shoulder and that head yanked too early and too much, or whatever it may be, out of timing, we're going to get this angle to be even more, and that's going to send that hand out even more, and that's going to make our misses most likely than not be of the high arm side variety, or potentially a yank low glove side miss. But everything else, man, delivery is looking pretty darn strong. All right, man, we got your two videos synced up here so you can watch them a couple times in a row here before we talk about what we're going to want to work on this winter. All right, and what we're going to see here is the same thing we saw last year and we talked about and wanted to work on, and it's the same thing the year before that. We wanted to work on and talk about pretty much ever since I've known you. This is the same thing that each winter when it comes around time to work in, we talk about, and that's your shoulders being on this upward angle at the time that your front foot gets into the ground. And we remember, once that front foot is in the ground, it's time for the upper body to rotate around and throw, and we need to throw the baseball down, which means our shoulders need to be level in order for us to throw down. If our shoulders are up, we are going to end up rotating up. Or at best, if our shoulders are up, we will end up rotating level. Our mound and our surface goes down. The area that we're trying to throw the baseball at is down. So having shoulders up is not only contradictory to what we're trying to accomplish, but it hinders our arm's ability to work smoothly with the body and therefore puts our arm at a higher chance of injury. What we're going to see now as you go to rotate, because your shoulders are so far angled up, that we have to do something about the height of this shoulder. And what we can only do from this position is yank and pull it down. And now, here we are throwing, at best, with an upward trajectory because your chin's way up, because your shoulders were just forcing it to be up. And now everything is going up with this arm as we're trying to throw the baseball down. We get to release, and your body is almost in a completely upward positioning. Our body needs to be in an outward position, accelerating energy down and forward, so that way our throw can go down and forward. And the reason your body can't do those things is because it's in such an upward angle when your front foot hits the ground. If we look at some big league videos here to help you see this difference, we can use these guys right here. Shoulders are level. Shoulders are even at the moment that that foot hits the ground. That way he can get out in front when he releases the pitch. Even though he's angled as he's going down, once he gets to that foot in the ground, his shoulders will be level. So that way when he throws the baseball, he can be out in front doing so. He started with those level shoulders here, going down. As that foot's in the ground, the shoulders are level. So that way he can be up and down. So when he gets to release, he can be out in front, sending that power down and helping get that throw out. And your body is not able to do that because you are throwing uphill when we need to be throwing downhill. So all the things that we worked on last winter are things that we will be working on again this winter. All right, I got your video synced up here that will let you watch 2 times in a row before we get to what we're going to want to work on this winter. And if I remember somewhat correctly, last year we were working on this same thing, which is when this front foot gets down into the ground, we need our arm to be ready to throw the baseball. Okay? What we can see is your heel is hitting first, then the front foot hits the ground, and by the time the front foot fully is in the ground, your shoulders are already opened. Not only your shoulders are already open, but that throwing arm is already coming through. So we need to learn how to land a lot more flat flush on this mound, which means we got to learn how to keep this front foot from hitting the ground until after this backside fires. Your backside does not want to fire until that heel hits the ground. Now the backside is fired. We need to find a way for that front foot not to hit the ground until right now. We don't want the front foot to be touching the ground until right now. More importantly than even that, because that's just going to help you throw the baseball harder. What we're going to actually want to focus most of our time early this winter on is getting this glove to not fly open. We watch your glove from the back foot up. That's where you start. This side is in, this side is out. We need your glove to not, we need your glove not to go out. And your glove starts very close to being right on that line. And then now that glove is out, your elbow is out, your shoulder is out, and your head is out. We want things to stay in or on that line all the way through this throw. And because your glove goes straight towards the target, straight towards the target, straight towards the target, it's got nowhere else to go but over here, out, out, out. And once that goes so far out, the shoulder is going to go out with it next. And once the shoulder goes out, we're losing accuracy and we're putting stress on the arm that we don't need to. So we need to learn a better, more strong hand separation. When these hands separate from one another, this glove's path towards the target, out and around. Towards the target, but around. We need it to spend some more time in the closed off area before it gets to the neutral area, because we do not want it to go into the out area. If we get a big league video from the front, you can watch Devin Williams' glove here. And we can kind of even get similar lines drawn if we'd like, right? Neutral. This is the closed. This is the open. See how much time he spends in the closed. So that way, once he's ready to finish it, it's right on the neutral. So that way his body can stay right in that neutral lane. So that's the biggest thing. Control the hand separation, control the glove path. 2 videos are synced up here for you to watch a couple times before we dive into what we're going to want to work on this winter. All right, so we're in the windup here. We got all this ability to create rhythm and momentum early. But what we're going to notice is as your leg is coming up, you're just kind of pushing your butt out. You're just kind of pushing that butt out. And then you're kind of tilting your shoulders backwards. Right? So your body is trying to create and store power. It's trying to build up its power meter by pushing the butt out and pushing the shoulders back. You're doing this to create power. This. And then that's just going to turn into this front foot just reaching out. And your body really has not gone anywhere. All right? So you've gone step, leg up, butt out, shoulder back, foot forward, and my head is still no closer to the target than when I first started. So now we have to hope we don't have this super closed off glove, which there's nothing wrong with it being over here. But we got to hope, being that we have no energy, no momentum, no nothing going this way, that this glove here does not start to rip, yank, and pull this way in an effort to create power. And the reason that it may want to do that is because it's not getting that power by momentum or us going towards the target. And the only other way we can create power when we throw the baseball is by rotation. So if we're not getting power by going to the target, we're going to try to get as much rotational power as possible. And unfortunately, yanking and pulling the glove this way does not increase our rotational power output this way. And this way is where we need that baseball to go. So what we need to be thinking about is getting the body going towards the target during the leg lift and not sticking your butt out towards the batter and leaning your shoulders back away from them. Because when that happens, we're going to land and we're going to have these upward shoulders, kind of like Colwell. And now upward shoulders are going to prevent us from being able to get out in front with our body at release. And there's the ball coming out of your hand, and you're like right here. At foot strike, your body was almost, in fact, leaning backwards. Straight up and down would be like right through there. So because you stuck your butt out and your shoulders back at the beginning of your delivery, your shoulders are still on this backwards angle at the moment of foot strike. And then that prevents them from being able to get out in front at release, which is going to take away from our power and our ability to throw the baseball down in the zone, especially when we're going down on this mound. So if we get side view videos here for you, we'll get a Jack Flaherty, we'll do a Ben Joyce, and who else can we do for you? And get a third guy. We'll do a Kevin Gausman. All right, so we're going to notice that before this leg gets to the top of the leg lift, his body is going to be going forward. So we can draw some lines here just to be able to see movement a little bit easier. As this leg is coming up, we're going to see how his head, aka his entire body, is going towards the target, towards the target, towards the target. So that way when the leg starts to go down, yes, his body is going down. Yes, his hip, his butt is out in front, but it's not because he pushed it and popped it and tilted it. What in the world just happened there? Oh. Look at that. It's not because he's pushing and popping it. It's because he was going down that mound with energy. Okay, and if we draw similar lines again at when his front foot hits the ground, his body is up and down. And then when he gets to release, which is somewhere in between here, his body is out. Do that same thing with you. And your leg comes up, and look at that, your head went backwards from where it started. Your head's going backwards from where it started. Now it's back to where it started. And now you're finally going forward. Now you're finally going forward. Now you're finally going forward. Because of that, we get you then to be at that same line. But yours, like we said, yours actually is slightly backwards. We get to your release, which is right here between those two frames. And you're here. All of that versus this. We get Flaherty up. And we're going to see similar things. His body is going to start to go forward. His body's going to start to go forward. Yes, his butt is out in front. Yes, his shoulders appear back, but he did not do any of the tilting. And he was able to get going forward during the leg's descent, which gets him in the same spot, straight up and down. So then when he gets to release, somewhere in here, his body is out in front, getting to go all of this power down and also out. All right, you're releasing the ball here. These guys are releasing it way out there. So that's going to be what we need to be working on this winter, is getting that rhythm to get you down the mound with the body, so that way the chest can get down during the throw. Okay, we got your 2 videos synced up here so you can see what you look like. We will let you watch this a couple times before we talk about what we're going to want to work on this winter to help us have a lot more consistent command over our pitches and to be able to reduce the stress that's put on your arm when you're making these throws. So what we're going to first look at and talk about is just how much you're turning your hips, how much you're having to rotate these hips backwards just to get your knee up on an angle, right? So we think here's your belt buckle, it's going into third base dugout. At the top of your leg lift, that belt buckle is like at second base, right? We don't need to turn our hips around to get this leg to come up on an angle, right? We can get this kneecap to come on this angle back by just simply raising the leg on an angle. We don't need to spin the hips to angle the knee backwards, okay? Because our front leg getting to a closed position is only as useful as how long we can keep it closed for. And we can see as soon as you get it to close, it's instantly swooping straight to neutral, right? So your leg went in this super closed off direction just to get to this very neutral position, and your body as a whole has not gone anywhere. Okay? So really, what was the purpose of closing that leg off if we're going to just get it right back to here and everything is going to be in the same position as it just was, right? So now we have this issue of this leg is now what we would consider is swooping around, right? Because it started way back here, the knee way back here, and the foot way back there, and now it's swooping out, okay? Which, as long as we can catch it and not have it keep swooping us out, we're going to be okay, right? But what we're going to notice is with all of this swooping didn't leave us a whole lot of time to get going forward. And what we're going to now see is, now that this front foot is in the ground, your body is going to really want to go forward now. So much so that we can't even stay on this front foot and rotate around it. We have to fall in front of it. Because we weren't getting ourselves to go earlier in the delivery, once it's now time to go, once it's now for your time your body wants to go, we can't. The brakes of our engine is already applied. We got 2 feet in the ground. When 2 feet are in the ground, we cannot travel. Try to walk somewhere in your living room right now without moving your feet. You ain't going to go anywhere. Even if only 1 foot moves, we're not going to be able to go any further than that. You had 1 foot move, but the body did not go with it. And now that the body wants to go, it can't because our brake is applied. And that's why we're falling forward after a throw instead of rotating around after our throw. If I pull up some big league videos here and just have them be guys from the side in no particular order, so not even by alphabetical, I'll just start pulling some of my more recent video clips here of guys that you would know the names of. And we just watch how these guys finish their throws. They're not going to be finishing and falling forward, rotating around in his finish. Rotating around. We rotate to throw the baseball, so we need to rotate to finish throwing that baseball. We rotate to throw the baseball, therefore we must rotate to finish that throw of the baseball. We're not peeling, falling over to the side. We're finishing our rotation. We're balanced at the end. Our eyes are always on the target. But we got to rotate through release. Rotating through release. Oops. You don't know who that is. Okay, so that's what we're going to want to work on this winter. Is not turning the hip so much just to raise the leg up. So that way we're not just swooping and not going anywhere. But we're able to go, 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 go. And the reason you're not able to go, 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 go is because you got to turn and unturn before your body feels comfortable going. And by that time, it's too late. We're in the ground already. And now we're going to go rushing and racing forward every throw. And that's going to be detrimental to our ability to throw strikes on a consistent basis. My bad. Forgot to get your side video with the cages, how they were. I even told you we're going to have to do things a little different for the lefty in the group to be able to get the video. And then when it came time for me to go do that thing different, I dropped the ball. So I apologize for not having your side view video here. But we will be able to do everything we need to with this front view. So that's no worries. Plus, we're going to get more video throughout the winter, so I'll definitely be able to get side view for you. But all in all, dude, a lot of really good things that we got going on in this delivery here, which was kind of having me scratch my head because watching you play catch, especially like the first half of catch, we were throwing balls pretty much anywhere but our partner's chest, which I would have expected to see something big in your delivery that explained that. But I mean, everything that we're doing looks clean, is on time, it's repeatable. There's nothing that's showing me in your delivery that like, hey, this explains, or that's the reason, or that's the culprit for wild throws. Everything's looking good. I don't necessarily really have anything for you to think about other than if we can try and have this release. Notice how he's got just a little bit of a... No, I don't really want to mention it because it's not even a big deal. Delivery's looking good, man. Let me get some big leaguers next to you just so you can kind of compare yourself. Um, so we're looking good, man. Let's just get stronger. Let's get more disciplined with our arm care. Let's get more disciplined with our body strength and conditioning and our repeatability. Just chasing every single throw being the same as the one before, if it was a good one, or having the discipline and the body awareness to change things that are needed when they're needed to be changed.